Fighting games can have some unexpected origin stories. Thems Fightin Herds is one of them. Just how unexpected is it? Well, would you ever think that a media company, a toy company, and 4chan would come together to inspire 7 people to create a fighting game about magical talking creatures beating each other senseless? But here we are, the story of Thems Fightin Herds. So where do we start? I know, October 10th, 2010, Discovery and Hasbro came together to launch a new kids channel called The Hub. Much to the surprise of no one, Hasbro filled these time slots with old and new shows based on their toy lines. Any time slots that were left were filled with what I can best describe as whatever they can put their hands on. I mean, The Hub was the only place where you can watch both Adam West's Batman and an anime based on a Australian children's book series. Not to say it was bad, they had some good shows on its roster, but The Hub would produce one show that would create an internet sensation the world would never have seen before. That show being My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic. My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic was the 4th generation of the My Little Pony franchise. With the last generation coming out in 2003, Hasbro thought it was time to create the next generation, something new, creative, something that would keep young girls buying toys, and good enough that if their parents had to watch it with them, they wouldn't hate their kids afterwards. So, in order to do this, they would contract an animator by the name of Lauren Faust, who, funny enough, came to Hasbro to get her own show greenlit. In almost the same meeting, they would both reject her show and offer her creative freedom with Gen 4 of My Little Pony. Long story short, she took the job, creating everything from characters to world, and Friendship is Magic would become an overnight success. Little did they know, such success came with a price. Friendship is Magic's success gained the attention of the infamous 4chan image boards, which led to the creation of the first large-scale ironic fandoms on the internet. After a group of 4chan users started creating hype around the show in order to annoy the rest of the site, they succeeded, but the community would continue to grow to become a real fan base of unintended fans, calling themselves the Bronies. Now, what does any of this has to do with Thems Fightin Herds? Well, you see, it is the Brony community that would spawn the game in the first place. Bronies had the work ethic of an average Sonic fan, leading to a metric ton of fan works being created every day. Art, animation, music, fanfics, original characters, documentaries, conventions, and yes, fan games. One of them going by the name of My Little Pony: Fighting is Magic. In 2011, Fran Carpato, also known as Anukin, posted a bunch of concept screenshots of a My Little Pony themed fighting game on the 4chan spin-off site called Ponychan. Anukin would call this idea, and I am not even kidding, Marvel vs. Clopcom. Now, you would think this would be a silly idea, but this post was made in 2011. Marvel vs. Capcom 3 came out that February, and 09er fever was still going strong. So the post gained traction. Enough traction for 5 people to volunteer and make this concept a reality. So on the summer of 2011, Fran Campato, Omari Smith, Jay Wright, Lucas Alingus, James Workman, and Prominence, whose name I could not find, came together to create the game, calling themselves the Main Six, after the main character characters of Friendship is Magic. They will also change the name of the game to My Little Pony Fighting is Magic. A much better name if you ask me. Fighting is Magic had a rough production cycle at the start, due in no small part to Main 6 using Interbrain's Fighter Maker 2nd. Not to be confused with Fighter Maker 2, Fighter Maker 2nd was a 2D fighting game engine that sacrifices customization and flexibility for ease of use and streamlining, creating some unique problems, such as not being able to do EX moves, because the engine actually could not handle multiple button inputs at the same time. So they had to take a page from Blaze Blue and create their own version of the drive button, called the Magic button. Honestly, they should have used Mugen. Funny enough, Mugen is why the Fighter Maker series ended shortly after the remake in 2015. When most of the base for the game was done, they decided to post a trailer on YouTube featuring 4 of its 6 planned characters: Twilight Sparkle, Applejack, Rarity, Pinkie Pie, Fluttershy, and the one that got left out, Rainbow Dash. The trailer will be released to the world on June 19th, 2011 to an overwhelming 900,000 view count, gaining the attention of both the Brony community and the FGC. Both communities wanted to play the game, so during 2012, Fighting is Magic would be invited to 2 events: EVO's 2012 Indie Corner on July 6 in Las Vegas, Nevada, which would be turned into the Indie Showcase a year later. Watch this to learn how. And Canterlot Gardens, one of the many Friendship is Magic conventions, on September 28 in Strongsville, Ohio. At these events, the game would get the feedback Main 6 needed to create a better game, as well as the opportunity to meet fans of the project in person. But 2012 didn't bring all good news. Prominence, the head programmer, left on January 30th because of personal reasons. And on August 2nd, the game would be leaked by the QA team, which led to the whole QA team being replaced, and an open, angry letter sent out to the rest of the Brony community, saying that there will be no more information about Fighting is Magic until the game was done. The letter was rescinded a little later after they realized that it was a pretty dumb idea. Now, all of that was nothing compared to what happened at the start of the next year. I know some are wondering, what happened to Fighting is Magic, and why hasn't Hasbro done anything about it? To answer that question, I would have to do a little speculation on my part. I believe Hasbro knew about this game for a long time, but never touched it because there was no money involved, as Hasbro wanted to have a good standing with its fan community, and removing the game without a reason outside of copyright would hurt that standing. All of that changed, however, with the EVO 2013 donation drive for breast cancer research. Fighting is Magic made it onto the list of possible games that could try to donate their way into a main slot for EVO. Because of that, money was now involved, and Hasbro quickly put its foot down. And weeks later, on February 8th, 2013, Main 6 announced that they have received a cease and desist letter. Production was stopped. James Workman would lead the team, and in protest, people donated a total of $5,800 to try to get Fighting is Magic on EVO's main stage. But it wasn't enough. Fighting is Magic will lose to Super Smash Bros. Melee, who ironically also got hit with a cease and desist letter. With a dead game and 2 members down, Main 6's story was looking pretty grim, but it didn't end here. Before we get into the next part of the story, I would like to ask you to let me know if I missed anything in the comments. A lot of archives and old website links are gone, and I had to piece things together the best I could. Also, if you liked the video so far, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more videos. Main 6 had a choice to make: end it all here or make their own game with original characters, basically building everything from the ground up. Luckily for Main 6, the news of Fighting Is Magic's shutdown caught the ear of two people that would choose their fate for them: Lauren Faust, creator of Friendship is Magic, and Mike Zelmont, creator of the Z fighting game engine. Lauren Faust would go on to create a whole new cast for Main 6, replacing the My Little Pony ones. Twilight Sparkle would be replaced by Oriander the Unicorn. Applejack would be replaced by a cow named Arizona. Rarity will be replaced by a reindeer, Velvet. Pinkie Pie would be replaced by Paprika, the mute llama. Fluttershy would be replaced by Palm, the sheep. And Rainbow Dash would be replaced by Tarantino, a llama. Basically, a Chinese dragon horse. With these new characters, it allowed them to go a little crazier with the play styles and be inspired by the newer games coming out during the time, like Persona 4 Arena, as they no longer had to worry about moves being in character like they had to in Fighting Is Magic. Mike Zelmont would give the Z engine to Main 6 as part of Skullgirl's Indiegogo campaign. The Bronies would pay in kind by buying two character skins, a Parasol Fluttershy skin and a Robo Fortune Rainbow Dash skin. Armed with a new member, new characters, and a new engine, Main 6 would go straight to work on creating a new game, leading up to an Indiegogo campaign under its new name, Thems Fightin Herds, on September 21st, 2015. The game would feature a story mode, new stages and characters, GGPO rollback, enhanced graphics because they no longer had to port everything into Fighter Maker, a dynamic music system where the background music would change depending on what was happening in game, pro voice acting, and new core mechanics like push block and anti-air moves, just to name a few. The project once again brought hype and reached every goal they set for the campaign, leading to $586,346 when they asked for $436,000. With that money, they promised a full game on PC, Mac, and Linux, as well as a 7th character, Shanty the Goat, who would be released as DLC with her own stage and story on March 25th, 2021. But I'm getting ahead of myself. As you can see, there is almost a 6-year gap between the crowdfund and the Shanty DLC. What happened between those 6 years? Honestly, there wasn't much to say outside of they just worked on the game. Thems Fightin Herds would come out on April 30th, 2020, officially. But before that, the game would be play tested for almost 5 years between the backer-only testing and the Steam Early Access. As far as I know, Thems Fightin Herds did pretty well for itself, with a 94% rating on Steam. The game would even be given a EVO Online slot. Well, that was before it got cancelled due to Mr. Wizard allegations. Though, and instead, Main 6 would create its own tournament circuit called Stampede, which as of recording is happening right now. That's pretty much the story of Thems Fightin Herds, but there is one more interesting thing that I forgot to mention. The name. Where did it come from? Well, it turns out that Lauren Faust has a husband who goes by the name of Craig McCracken, who is the creator of shows like the Powerpuff Girls, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, and Wonder Over Yonder. He suggested the name Thems Fightin Herds, and it just stuck. So that's the story so far. But it's far from over yet. I personally love when fan games become their own game, and we'll be watching to see how Thems Fightin Herds will turn out. The research into the My Little Pony fandom was an interesting one to say the least, and I saw some stuff I really wish I hadn't. But Thems Fightin Herds is a pretty silly game and fun to play, so try it out if you can. Also, if you're interested in Fighting Is Magic, there is a more or less final version out there called Fighting Is Magic Tribute Edition, where fans of the project took a leaked version of the build and finished it in secret. That's all for this video. I'm off to work on the multi-bug video. See you soon, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.